Hello, I'm Micks Mowers and welcome to my channel. In today's video, working on this Stihl TS410, quite an old concrete disc cutter saw for cutting curbs and bits and pieces like that and block paving. This disc cutter saw currently has a no spark issue. So if your disc saw has got either no spark, weak spark, a simple diagnosis could get this machine up and running again, or maybe it's in for a bit more of a repair than that, which you'll see in this video. If this is your first time in watching Micks Mowers, hit the old subscribe button, whack the old bell, set notifications to all, that way you'll be told next time I upload another video. So without further ado, let's get down dirty and let's diagnose the reasons why and try and get this disc saw back up and running. Okay, so Stihl disc cutter up on the old bench. Now you're going to need a few tools for this because we need to sort of try and diagnose the reasons why this disc cutter has actually got no spark issue. So I have tried to start the machine and I already have confirmed there's no spark. So the first thing what I'd say we need to do is undone the little Torx bolt on the top here and just remove the spark plug cover. Easy 7 done, Mick. Pardon me. Oh, it's a bit more undoing. That's undone. Pop that out, take that off. Now just inside here, this is where your spark plug boot is located. And all you want to do is just remove that, take it off. Now, there's not a lot of space in here, and you will struggle to actually remove it. Oh, like that. So inside this spark plug boot, there's a very, very small wire, okay, inside here. Now that wire has a coil on the end of it, and that is what actually sits on the end of the spark plug, just like so. It sits inside there as a coil in here. Now that coil will have a leg that comes down and will bite into the HT lead. If that becomes disconnected, then you're going to have a problem full stop, okay? So one thing you can do, if there's not a lot of room, you can just push and force this wire out of the boot, okay? So you can actually inspect it, or you can just pull the boot off, and that will show you then if it's actually connected inside the HT lead boot there. Let me just show you that, just so you can sort of see it, because that is quite a common problem with these Stihls, is that little tiny leg just there that actually bites into the HT lead. That actually can just literally work its way loose with vibration and what have it, and it literally just pops off your HT lead just like so. It just sits in there like that. You see, that's all it is. So that could be a very, very simple fix for you guys. However, I have checked that and that wasn't the case with this machine. So I'm going to keep hold of the little tiny wire in there. I'm going to retrieve that in a minute. So that'll come out this way, and I'm going to keep hold of the boot as well. Okay. So with that now done, we know that it's not actually the HT lead boot itself or the spring causing the issue. It's something a bit more further down. And my guess is I've already changed the plug on this machine and put a new plug in. That made no difference at all. I tried to short it all out, so that all worked. That was fine. I try to make sure that the on-off micro switch, which is inside here, is all working, which I believe it is to be. However, I have just purchased from my box of many things from my local Stihl dealer, wherever the parts are. I have now just lost them. Let me just locate them. Over here I have a new micro switch which sits up the top here, just to the side of this on-off switch, and the part number for that is 4238-430-0501. And I have also just bought a brand spanking new coil, which the number is 4238-400-1301, all from my main dealer down at D&M Chainsaws in West Sussex in Warburton. Go and check them guys out, they are fantastic. So to replace the coil on this machine, there's a number of things we have to do. We can just go straight into this side here, okay, and that will take the coil off. However, there is still a bit more work to do, and the work to do is to actually remove the top cover, because you're going to need to trace the wires around the top of the engine casing and inside this orange casing as well. So it is a little bit of a fiddly job, and you want hands like an otter, because literally my hands are too big, and I've been swearing at this machine and these type of machines for years because my hands are just too big. The coil comes in around about, it's not cheap, I hope you're sitting down, around about 140 quid, a genuine Stihl one, or you can run the risk and risk it for a biscuit with a Wuhan special for about 24 quid. The choice is yours. Obviously you decide what you want to do, and if you want to just risk it for 20 quid, then that's up to you. You know, I can't say yes or any good or not, but I'd rather much buy the main part. Just remove this cover very gently from out of whence it came. Take the screw out, put that to one side. And here is your magneto or your coil. It's only held on by one bolt here, one bolt here, and you've got 2 cables. Now's a good time to take a photograph. Blue on the top, brown to the right. Simple as that. But we've got to go a little bit further, and we've got to undo. There's about 6 bolts to undo here. Okay, once them 6 bolts have been retracted, you would have thought it'd just lift off out, but it won't lift off out because there is a linkage which is connected to this throttle assembly onto the carburetor, and it's a bit of a weird linkage. You just have to pop it up to get it off, and to put it back in you have to pop it down. But I will try and show you that linkage in 2 seconds. Let me try and do these 4 screws very quickly without wasting too much of your time. There's one here, and one over here. So remove those. Now I think you don't have to remove the back trigger one on these, I don't believe. So that should be pretty much it. It will start to lift up, but that's about as far as you're going to go. Okay, now I'll try and retrieve all these bolts before I drop them all, because some will go into plastic and some will go into metal. Generally the side ones go into the aluminium casing, and they have a very, very smooth thread like this one. They go into the side case, and the plastic ones have a very, very coarse thread which go into the top. So just remember, coarse for the top and not so coarse for the bottom. So now we can see we've got this all loose, but it won't come off, and it won't come off because there is a little tiny throttle clip just inside. Let me try and show you that right now. Right, so inside, let me try and get the depths for it. There you can see the little tiny throttle linkage moving up and down. That linkage there, that's the linkage that you have to get hold of a pair of long nose pliers and pull that linkage up whilst pushing the black plastic bit down, and it will come straight up. Okay, it's not a push sideways one, it's a straight up and straight down job. So let me get you resorted, and then I'll try and do it for you. However, I can't show you because literally I just can't get you guys in there and me in there at the same time. It's just not going to happen. So I'm going to wander down inside there. Let me try and get hold of it first. Let me see if I can see it. That might be a good thing, Mick. There it is there. Right, get hold of it. So now I've got hold of it. I'm now going to got hold of the throttle linkage. I'm now going to push down on the black bit, and that will give me the linkage that I need. Just have to be a little bit careful with it. You don't want to go too mad because it will break, and if it breaks, then it's another bit you need to buy. There it goes. Is that gone? Popped out and jumped back in again. It's just a bit fiddly, that's all it is. There it goes. Right, push it to one side, pull that lever up so it doesn't get involved. There you go, right, that's gone. Right, so now it's disconnected. Let me just show you how it looks like when it's been disconnected, and then we can go from there. So now it's been disconnected from inside, from where it came. Okay, so you can see it's just sat down there, and there's the black bit is just sitting, floating about. So that's now disconnected. So that bit's one of the hardest things to take off, and guess what? One of the hardest things to put back on. So we need to do that. Now we've done that, pull these little wires out from the top housing here. Just pull them out so they're free, and that will enable you to then lift the machine up and round. You've got a wire here to disconnect off of the top body. Then you just flip the machine all the way over. And inside here, there's one more Torx bit just here, okay? And that is what's holding on the micro switch. So what I'm going to do now is put my Torx bit into there. You can just jam it down the side of it, and then undo that one quite easily. That drops down into the carburetor, and then your switch will then come out down through there, and there's your switch. Now one screw just dropped down that one there, back to one side, and there's your micro switch. So nice and simple there. Now's a good time to check all your HT leads and what have you. Make sure there's nothing broken, nothing crimped, nothing bare that's showing, because that could also be a cause as to why you have no spark. If you've ever broken one of these cables, that could be a reason why you got no spark either. But these all look to be very, very good. So my theory is behind the reason why I have no spark on this machine is either the micro switch is faulty and it's got a direct short on it, they're about £7, or the coil is faulty and they're about 120. So guess what one you're going to replace first? But I thought for the sake of while I'm going down there, I'll pick this one up and go from there. So hopefully I'm going to replace the switch and the coil and get this machine all up and running again. So just, as I say, make a mental note of where the bits go. And then that way you better know what's going on later on. So just take a quick photograph. Let me find my camera. Quick little photograph. Everyone say cheese of where everything goes, and we know for later on. So that's good. And then a quick little tidy up, and I'll come back to you in 2 seconds. Right, so now we've got the micro switch cable off, and the HT now disconnected. Then we now remove the actual coil itself. Now the blue wire has this bolt on it here, and this one is actually bolted to the back of a coil, whereas a brown wire just has a little tiny tab to sit on. Okay, so remove that bolt there first. It's quite a long one. That comes off. Put that to one side, and then you've got another one just to the right of it. Undo that one, and that will then release the coil. Now, to get your gap, just chuck a business card in between the coil and the flywheel. That'll give you enough air gap in between. Off comes your coil. Out that goes. Now grab the new coil, which is this one, and you want your HT lead around the left-hand side, and that's just going to sit literally from where it came. That one there, it's going to sit in there like that. Okay, so I'm just going to loosely put this one in and just start that one off, just to hold my coil in place. That's that one. And then I want to grab my micro switch, because that's got the little tiny tail on one end, which it should be on the brown wire. And you want to retain this little tiny clip just here. So off of the old one you get this little tiny clip, and that's what goes on the brown wire. So put your brown wire onto that one. Oh, here it go on. Fiddly fiddly. And then that one just sits and rests up on there like that and shorts out against that part of the coil. So feed that one in, that into there, and just start that one off. And just make sure that the metal clip we just put on the coil there is actually in the right position. You don't pinch it down anywhere else where it shouldn't belong. In fact, the brown wire's running the wrong way, Mick. Did that wrong, didn't I? The blue wire on there. Oh, see, we all make mistakes. Even me. Let that go down. Coil's still nice and loose, which is what you want. Now, just going to grab a business card and I'll come back to you. Right, to get your air gap in between the coil, bring it round roughly to where the magnet's going to sit, okay? I've got this Terrell Fixes All business card. Thank you, Terrell. I've had it for years now. Slide that in between the coil. Just so it slides all the way in, and then rotate the flywheel round so the magnets grab hold of the coil, which is about there, okay? And that will be plenty good enough for your air gap. Once that's in position, you can then just push the coil down, just snug it down, and then tighten up your coil on both positions. One there, and just grab that. That's got to go around. That's got to sit like so. And then do that one up there whilst just pushing down on the coil. Once that's in place, you can just rotate your flywheel just to retrieve your card, and that's your air gap set for your coil. Easy. Next thing to do is just to start to prepare your coil wires. So you want your blue wire to go up on the top, not your brown as previously discussed. Oh, You might get a pair of long nose or stubby nose pliers in, just to help you, assist you with pushing that down. They're a bit of a tight fit, as they should be. There's one, and then just sink your brown wire. So this is all for the kill switch. Don't damage anything whilst you're pinching down. That defeats the object of the exercise. There it goes. So we've got brown wire on, blue wire on, and those wires now have to be traced. Try and get it so the insulation is actually inside the groove. Okay, that will go in first, up and over top. That's where that one sits, and then the HT lead wire, that's what will come up into here. So that will then sit and push those other wires all in. That comes up over top and around. But before we do that, just want to retrieve the spring off of the old one to put the boot onto here as well. So let's get that done whilst we're here. Right, so to attach your HT lead spring, here it is here, back onto your boot. What you want to do onto your wire is put your HT lead on first. So just a little tiny bit of, I'll put a little bit of white grease on, not a lot, just a smidge. Just to rub that on, just to help this boot go all the way on. And I want to retrieve that from out the other side. Okay, so push it all the way in and you'll see it sneak through. I'll grab hold of a pair of long nose pliers. I'm going to go down in there, I'm going to grab hold of that. And I want to try and pull that out this side here. It will go, it's just quite a steep angle for it to turn round. Here it comes. And push that just out the way, okay? Get that gone. And then bring your spring in. And all we want to do is just, there's a metal cable core through here, through the centre. All you want to do is just put a mark on there, and then with a pair of long nose pliers, just pinch it. And the idea is to get that metal piece to go through the centre of the HT lead wire. Okay, so let me just try and locate it for you. It is a bit of a pickle to do one-handed, trust me. Ask me how I know. You can go off centre if you like. You can get your HT lead bits in, or your pliers in. Just roughly mark it where it's got to go. So it's going to go about there. Just a tiny mark as I can see it. And then it's got to go into the centre. Now if it doesn't go into the centre, you run the risk of it actually missing the wire that it's supposed to connect with. So line it up, get it right first time, pinch it in there. When you're happy with it, rotate it round, and then just pinch that all the way home. Oh, hello. See what I mean? Ask me how I know. So I'll make a start and just pinch it in. You want 3 hands. I've only got 2. So if you don't get it right, then it will miss a wire in the centre, and you still have no spark. That's going to be about right there, Mick. Line it up. About there. And we go in there. Once it's gone in, you double check where it's actually gone. I think we're there. It feels about right. Then just make sure you pinch it all the way home, just so you know for 100% certain you know that's got hold of that. Once you know it's in there, I'm not happy with mine. I'm going to bring mine back out and squeeze that back in again. There. It like that. In it goes. Right, that's in. Now that's in, and it's right in the centre, so I know it's definitely got that wire in the centre there. So make sure it's definitely in. Right, now, smallest bit of WD-40 maybe. Just a little tiny spray on there. Just to help this boot to run, because now you want this boot to come all the way back up without pulling it out the coil, of course. And then it's got to sit back inside the boot from where it came. Very gently as you do it. Now what some people do is actually get the spark plug or a spark plug, and they'll actually push that in to help house it. Once you've got it in, you know you're there. That feels about right. Take that out, let's have a little look. Yeah, there you go. So that's now sat in there exactly where it should be, and that's not going to come out of there. Okay. So now we know the HT is now in place. We can now divert that out where it needs to go. Push that into there, up through the holes. It goes up over top of this one, and then back and underneath and round. Sits just like that. Okay, and now we can start to reassemble. We've got to put this micro switch back on. It's got a tiny cover on here. That's got to come off. That little tiny cover. Off that comes. There's a little tiny micro switch, and that's all that's got to do is that's just got to sit inside the orange housing from where it came out. No big deal. We actually do have a little tiny cover here, a little tiny white one which you can keep. You can retain that to help push this one in without breaking it, because that's got the cover for the other one. And you want to go cables at the lowest part. Okay, so the bit where it's higher, that just sits in there like that. Okay, sits in there, and that's what allows you to screw it onto the new bit. So that's the old bit, that can go. Just got to now fit this back inside, screw it all down, and that should be job done.